I'm Rob Van Rapports with MBANow, and I'm joined today by William Kooper, MBA Vice President of State Government Affairs and Industry Relations, to talk about Remote Online Notarization, or RON, and MBA's campaign to enact state RON laws nationwide. William, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks very much for having me.
So the joint MBA American Land and Title Model Legislation, or RON, has been out there since, December 2017, and since then, you and some industry volunteers have had a couple state legislative sessions, campaigns. What kind of progress have you been making, though?
Sure. It's actually been pretty successful. In fact, we're pretty surprised by how much success we've had in such a short amount of time, given the kinds of hurdles legislation can be put through during a legislative season. When we drafted the model, we thought there probably was some interest in state policymakers for doing these kinds of laws, but we were surprised by just how much. When we started writing the model back in the fall of 2017, there were only about 4 states that had legislation on the books to do RON, and not all of them were very similar. So when we were able to take the model out 2 states in 2018, we were able to get about 6 states on board with doing RON laws. But that momentum carried on pretty successfully into this year, where we've been able to double that number, and we're actually up to 12 more this year, or 22 states overall. And we're pretty proud of that. But the key takeaway is that all this progress, that's the result of hard work by our volunteer members and also the state association partners on both the MBA and ALTA side, has resulted in the emergence of a consistent national standard for how these laws are passed into law in states. And that's a pretty successful accomplishment, because they espouse the kinds of principles that the industry has been seeking in state law.
Yeah, that sounds terrific. However, it sounds like some bills didn't really get over the finish line.
So yeah, we have had a couple of bills that didn't get done, but the more important point is that we're pushing forward on developing this national consensus. So while we didn't get a bill in New Mexico, which was profoundly flawed, and we were able to ask the sponsor to pull it back in exchange for to work with them and get it done next year, we were, for example, in Montana, which was one of the first states to enact RON, to come back this year and amend their law to be more in line with the language of other states. So that really speaks to the power of what the model has been able to achieve in the states, and we're very proud of that as well.
So what's next, and how can industry professionals get engaged?
Yeah, so with about 22 states enacting these laws, we still have the majority of them to work on and try to seek enactment there. And then as more states enact these laws, we have to turn towards the regulatory rulemaking process in each state. So I've got 3 suggestions. First, please, if you're not familiar with MBA's resource page on this, it's mba.org/RON. We've got the model bill, all the ancillary materials like talking points and frequently asked questions, support letters, etc. We've also got links to all of the state laws and regulations that are on the books, and we update the news piece of this almost hourly at times, because the developments are fast-breaking. The second thing I would encourage you to do is get involved in state associations where you want to see these laws enacted. We've got terrific partners all over the country, and if you don't know who to talk to, please contact us. We'll be glad to make the introductions. And then thirdly, if you're in a position to write on behalf of the industry in support of one of these regulations, please point the policymakers towards the MISMO model standards that have been developed over the last couple of years by industry volunteers on the RON Development Working Group. They've done a lot of hard work, and we've been successful thus far in Tennessee, Texas, and Nevada in urging those regulators to implement those rules in a manner consistent with the MISMO standards.
Remote online notarization has been a big issue for us in the States, and you guys have really done a great job with it. Please be sure to stop back and tell us about any updates as things progress.
Happy to. Thanks for inviting me.